Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makaro, All Relations. Today we're talking, and it is Seraphim September. We're talking all about congruence, and I'd come across this yesterday where Sire Osmosis, my crown chakra guide, was telling me that, was saying like, why are you Terrans so incongruent? Like you're thinking one thing, you're feeling another thing, and you're saying another thing. That's the idea of incongruence. Most people, they do that from some reason, some insecurity, some fear, some repressed thing that they're going through, right? They don't do it because that's naturally them. Because if you felt naturally yourself and authentic and abundant and you knew yourself really well, would you second guess yourself constantly? Would you put up this people pleaser mask and show for everybody like, oh, I have to pretend to be like this a little bit more and perhaps I can do it this way, right? You're trying to be the puppet master when you're being the puppet that is being mastered, right? The first thing for you to understand is congruence can seem like a very big word or something like this to you. Fancy syllables, okay? But don't get lost in the word. The concept is very primal. If you think of it in terms of the primal way, I promise you congruence will be very simple and easy for you. It's the difference between walking around as a living person or going through life as a puppet. You see, when your heart beats one rhythm and your mind mutters another, and your tongue spits out something else, what you really got there is not only incongruence, but it's self-betrayal. Do you guys understand that? Give me a thumbs up if you understand this concept. It's like telling your warrior spirit, shut up, I'd rather impress Chad from my office than ever honor you, and you wonder why your chest feels hollow, why your back aches, why you look in the mirror and you see a stranger. Being congruent means what you think, what you feel, and what you say. Align the fuck up. It's your spine, your truth, your fire, all going towards the same direction. That's why children are masters of congruence, if you notice. A kid will straight up tell you, that guy's wearing glasses, right? Or that lady is really overweight, right? They're not hiding from the truth. They're thinking something, they're feeling something, and then they're saying that thing, right? Because they grow up without a filter at that age. But then parents have to parent them or socialize them to be more responsible adult beings in the future, right? A kid will straight up tell you, I don't want to eat that. I want to lie on the floor right now and pick my nose, right? Straight up. And you know what? I think we've become such cranky adults, even myself, and I really want that inner child essence back, right? So today I was like, I am going to get to the bottom of this, right? One of my guides, Sanat Kumara, who's telling me like, there's gotta be some reason why we feel drained, right? And it's mainly because we're not being the type of person that we know ourselves to be. We're always putting on this pretense and this show to show everybody that I'm cool enough, I'm effective enough, I'm resourceful enough, I'm reliable enough. But what about you being enough as you are? It's weird how you trust that kid because he's got no filter. That's because he hasn't learned the art of self-betrayal yet. But adults, we get domesticated, we get indoctrinated, we get programmed. We learn the game of should and you ought to. We say yes when we mean no. We laugh at jokes that offend our spirit. This is how congruence starts to leak out of your bones. And the more you do it, the shitty thing is, the less you trust yourself, okay? You'll start to have issues with your own confidence, your own self-esteem in the future if you keep living fake, incongruent. But this is most of the planet, right? Look around you, go outside and notice how many people are being fake. Mostly all of them, okay? Mostly all of them. Hey, I was an actor. I got caught up in the fakeness, okay? I wanted to go that route until I understood, no, I want to be a coach. I want to be a positive psychologist. I want to create a ripple effect, an impact that is greater than this noise that I'm seeing in this world. I want to remain the melody even when the world is noise. I can't go ahead and try to change the world like that. I have to first change myself so that I can function with the rest of the world, and that is actually changing the world, right? The real curse is when you stop believing in your own words, right? You're saying all these things in jargons, but you're not internalizing it. And when you don't trust your own mouth, nobody else will either. They're feeling your vibration. What you feel is they feel. That's the first law of game. If you ever came across social dynamics, that's the first law, right? Whatever you feel, they feel. But here's the real Heyoka joke. Everybody thinks that honesty will burn bridges. Okay? Ridiculous. It's the complete opposite in my experience. Honesty is a bridge towards the other person. You can't meet a soul halfway if you're pretending to be somebody else, right? So Carl Rogers, the guy who came up with the idea of congruence, right? The humanist. Humanism was all about the understanding that everybody has everything already within them. They can solve their own issues. All you're doing is just redirecting their mind and getting them to solve their own problems through your questioning as a coach, right? So this was the humanist idea. I think it's a good idea, but I think it can be even more expansive, right? So he said that congruence is the core of healing. And I think this is really powerful for us to understand as a peak performance shamanic unit. He wasn't talking about like academic mumbo jumbo. He was telling it straight up. If you can't be real, people around you can't be real either. Right? And everyone is just going to put on the social mask and just pretend and that everything is all right. And that's good to do as well. I mean, I don't think you should go around blaringly, offending people with your negativity, right? Or trauma dumping onto others. I don't think that's the way to go about it either. So what does congruence look like in the field? It's saying something as simple as, no, you know what? I don't want to eat there today. Let's go somewhere else. That's congruence, right? When someone asks you, how are you? This is the ultimate challenge in congruence. This is what I really respect about Ryan G, because whenever I ask him, he's not like, fine. He'll tell me right what's going on. It's refreshing, yo. Because not many people do that. Hey, how are you? You know what? I'm actually fed up with this shit. Okay, whoa, okay, all right, man. Right? Most people, they choke back their comments, right? But when you live with this filterless childlike state, the sensibility, you will slowly start to tap into your congruence more and more. So here's the punchline. You say it, you say the congruent comment, and you realize nothing bad happens. Nothing bad happens. The sky doesn't fall down. You don't get stoned in the town square. Depending on where you're at, right? I don't know where you're listening to this from. Instead, you feel your blood move cleaner. And people finally know what they're dealing with. So let's go a little bit deeper into this concept. I don't want you to think of congruence as kind of like a social polish, okay? Like a quick, hack for your own self-image. It's your weapon against psychic rot, guys. When you deny what you feel, guys, those denied parts don't just disappear. They turn into shadows, into resentment, into sickness. But when you voice it clean, when you stand in it, the poison doesn't build. It leaves your body. And you stay light. You stay very sharp. So tell the truth. Say what you mean. Say what you think and feel, right? The inner world has to merge with the outer world. So call it out. Maybe you're in a relationship and you're not speaking up about something. Maybe you're in a business situation where you're not saying anything in the meetings because you're afraid of what people will say or think or, judge your ideas. But I urge you to try to push forward and just say it out loud. Because once you say it out loud, you're exposing it to the source light, into the openness. It's not in the 5D anymore, it's in the 3D. And as you're expressing it outwards, now the energy finally has space to move and play. So that means don't try to twist this into a perfectionism. Congruence ain't about always being a spotless saint, okay? Hey, every saint is a sinner who never gave up, right? This is really about aiming for congruence. You're gonna stumble, you're gonna catch yourself saying, I'm fine, even though you're not fine. And that's okay. Just course correct. Because congruence is a muscle, not a metal. You flex it, you grow it. Every time you flex it, it grows. The first thing that you should do to get more congruent is drop the word should. Should implies that it is external to you. It's somebody else's opinion. It's the teachers, the parent, your ancestors, your society whispering scripts into your ear and into your skull. If you catch yourself saying I should, try and transform it into your desires. I want or I don't want. That's the first level of congruence training. The second thing is, don't do anything that makes you feel like a creep or ashamed or embarrassed. Don't do anything in the nighttime that makes you shy away in the daytime. If it makes you hide, it makes you weak. Cut it out. We're only as sick as our secrets. Third thing is, and this is gonna make you an absolute monstrosity in this game of life, okay? To call out the incongruence in others. Hey, I noticed that you were saying yes, but your head was nodding no. What's that about? Just like Valana and Aubrey Marcus video that I caught, right? He's saying all these great things, but she's nodding her head, right? So it's like, she's probably feeling another thing. No, but saying yes, okay? So that's incongruence. And you can spot this if you really work on looking at people's micro expressions, looking at the ways that people express themselves inorganically, inauthentically, not in a genuine way, right? So let's say someone is really low energy in the room, right? And everybody else is just getting their work. I would call that out. Otherwise, it's just going to be bothering me in the back of my mind, like a nitpicky, annoying little flea, right? That keeps bugging you. And you're like, yo, no, I actually have to take care of this. You know what? You look kind of tired today. Is everything okay? Call it out, okay? Call it out. My apologies for the noise here. There's always noise out here in India. To be yourself is scary, I get it. Because the moment you claim it, you're responsible. You can do what you want, but you can't duck the consequences. That's why most people choose to stay bent, fake, twisted in their personalities. Because they'd rather carry chains than carry responsibility. But not you, because as you're hearing this video, you're different to these other people. As you're watching this video, you're probably already called towards this sharper living. So for this next week, just test your congruence. When you don't want to do something, you just say no. No, I don't want to do it. See what happens. Social experiment. When you're asked, how are you? Answer with the living truth, not the autopilot response. I was telling the story a while back in terms of Barnes and Nobles. I was there somewhere. I forgot where I was. But I'd been into this Barnes and Nobles and I'd ask, how are you? And then they say, yeah, I'm fine. And I realized he's not fine, you know? So I told him, no, man, come on. You don't have to pretend with me. How are you really feeling? What's going on? How are you? And he went on this rant almost for an hour, right? I couldn't get out of that bookstore because he really found somebody who's actually congruent, who understands to call out incongruence in others. And he was actually like applauding me, and he wanted my social media and all this kind of stuff because I just called out the BS in the moment. And no one calls out the BS. Everybody just stays silent, stays stuck, stays inwards, you know, doesn't call it out, doesn't put it out there, you know. But I had to learn this through the hard way. I mean, practice. Really, it's practice makes perfect in this thing. No, but perfect practice also makes perfect, right? This is about excellence rather than perfection. The spoiler alert is you will not die. You will actually feel way more alive once you get more congruent. Why? Because congruence is actually very contagious, right? One honest man in a circle gives every other man in that circle permission to drop their mask. That's the medicine. That's the Heyoka paradox. When you stop performing, everyone else relaxes. Lit. When you stop lying to yourself, you stop teaching others to lie to you. Quotable, mic drop, okay? Uncle Moncro is at it today, again, all astral arrows blazing. Just remember congruence to be almost similar to respect, right? Respect for your soul, respect for your tribe, respect for the creator. So don't waste it on fakery, okay? Line up your head, your heart, and your tongue. And watch the ripple effects. Because your life will catch the flame and start burning. Let's burn bright like the seraphim, guys. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. You got this, we got this. Upward spiral. Gang, gang to infinity and beyond. Let's get it, boom.